Good afternoon, good evening. Hey, everybody out there. Let me hear some noise. I can't hear y'all. Y'all know I'm there? Here we are in Times Square, the center of the world. This is the center of the universe, the crossroads of the world. I made some notes today because I speak from the gut, and I might get tangled up out here today, so I put it on paper for y'all. I want y'all to hear this. I'm thankful for God, He allowed me to be here. Thankful for Christopher Wright, CRA, for inviting me here to speak today, our law enforcement officers. Today is a day the Lord has made. I'm a Christian man, and I want you to know that. The corrupt career politicians in both parties must go. I am an independent Republican candidate for New York State Governor. I am here to bring the voice of the people to Albany. Your voices will be heard. Your concerns will be met under a Gibson administration. It is time out for the big corporation, big pharma, to stop buying the voices of the leadership. I'm running for New York State Governor, not as a career politician, but I'm just like you, a hard-working man. I walk these streets every day. I'm gonna give you a little background on me. I was born in Jamaica, Queens, New York. Somebody said, where the hell did you buy that accent from? That's because I was raised in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And I picked this accent up down south along with a little common sense while I was walking around down there. Today, tomorrow, and the day after, we want the light to shine on New York State. We are bringing a new day here. The dawning of a new day has begun, people. I want you to leave here today, and I want you to spread the word there's somebody out there for you. Because the mainstream media, the New York GOP, they try to hide me. I know I'm a little dark-skinned, but I can be seen with a little light. But they tend to hide me. I'm going to go over a few pointers here that I have on my platform. And thank you, Debbie, for going over that. I want to thank Dr. Sally Priestley for flying in from Puerto Rico. She think that much of me. She flew here to support me, and Debbie flew in from California. Y'all give them a round of applause. Recently, neo-Marxism has become the default ideology in our public institutions, including education, criminal justice, our government, and corporate governance. The philosophy has been injected, disguised as diversity and social equity, which makes absolutely no sense. Listen to me, people. Today, this is not the same equity that Dr. Martin Luther King died for. He believed in meritocracy, whereby jobs and pay are based on individual hard work instead of entitlements. The bottom line is, we must ask ourselves, do we want to follow Dr. King's dreams? Do you? Or Albany called Marxist extremist fascism? Neo-Marxism is terrible. You know that for yourself. They invoke their feelings of guilt and sympathy so they can pass racist laws. The liberal white people are circling your country telling you to be ashamed of being a white man. What kind of nonsense is that? God created all different colors. He created a garden, and the garden is beautiful. Keep the evil out. Keep the evil thoughts out. We are all one, people. I'm going to get to my favorite part I put down on here. Governor Kathy Hoochie Mama. This is what she is. Governor Hoochie has doubled down on the Marxist policies. They endanger students' physical, mental, and well-being. This is a huge difference between Annie Bai's cultural education and her critical race theory. Obviously, I'm a black African-American man. Racist theory, because in anti-American rhetoric is designed to indoctrinate young children in bigotry. And because it's anti-American rhetoric is designed for that, our young children are picking it up in the school system. Promiscuity, sexual activity, all types of nonsense. You and I know that bigots come in all colors, from Jesse Smollett to Joy Reid, transgender male, Christian Jeffries, the Enoch, who is in real hate crime, an Asian man with a hammer. Nonsense. A new bill sponsored by Samuel G. Brock, a freshman Democrat from Rochester, would mandate comprehensive sex education starting 5-year-olds and in kindergarten. Listen at that, complete filth of the earth. Captain Hoochie's policies keeping students safe. Right now in schools across the state, there's an escalation in violence among our children. I'm not talking about a simple bullying, but schoolyard fist fights. Why, if this is not addressed, can turn violent and even sometimes lead to suicide. That's bad enough, but only the tip of the iceberg, which has now led to critical beatings, stabbings, and even shootings in our schools. You're seeing these neo-Marxist so-called sanctuary cities like New York City is and New York State itself. I'm advocating for sanctuary schools to keep this filth out of our schools. Schools need to be placed of learning, not a dish of Democrat social engineering. As governor, I will make New York students first in reading, writing, math, and science. These are the things that should be taught in our schools. Not making them pawns for political correctness. Let's leave sex education to the families and focus on making our schools a safe, sane learning environment. Sounds like common sense to you? Then it is. Okay. She's a great woman, isn't she? Good and evil. Speaking of safety, how safe is your community since these Marxist Democrats passed bail reform? You can't even ride the subway. You can't walk down the street without looking over your shoulder. They are less safe. Right now, New York is experiencing a crime rate of epidemic proportions. All many politicians want to criminalize you, the citizen of New York, and make criminals. Victims, it's absurd and dangerous. If you think crime is bad in New York City right now, Rochester has one of the highest crime rates in America. Thank you, Mayor Lovely Warren, for that good number. You might wonder why Albany lawmakers want violent criminals back on the streets and double down on their bad policies. It's because they have an agenda to close down prison, showing that New York has the lowest incarceration rate in America. Since the Hoochie administration took office, over 20 prisons have closed and the inmates have been released back into your communities. I had a run-in with one last night and it didn't fare too well for him. Because if you come for my children, I would go to the cemetery defending them. No longer are these criminals arrested if they violate parole, unless it's a serious violation by possessing an illegal handgun. Even career criminals, Eugene Clark, who was out on robbery and then arrested for murder, was immediately released without posting bail to avoid overcrowding in the jail cells. My first action as governor will be to sign an executive order declaring crime a statewide epidemic. That will put the freeze on bail reform. This will allow us to override the current woke policies which allow recidivism and allow us once again to restore the rule of law. Law and order, another common sense approach that Democrats just don't get. Yes, I'm a God-fearing, passionate man. If these convicts need counseling and rehabilitation, we will make social workers will be available while serving their time in prison, not on the streets, not back in our community. The Declaration of Independence gives us an inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are bestowed on every single person, God Almighty Himself, not courts, not government, not doctrines. Since the passage of the Reproductive Health Act, women have become less safe because criminals who kill pregnant moms are not charged with the death of her baby. The law denies an unborn child citizenship and protection under the law. This usurps a higher law, a law of God Almighty, written by the Founders Fathers in the Declaration. God's law, we have a right to life, and an unborn child is a living New Yorker who can survive out the room but disenfranchised his right to life. The New York State Constitution does not have the right to life in it. We have a constitutional Congress in the year of 2027, but we don't need to wait that long. We need to take action now to guarantee the right of life in our New York State Constitution. This is a moral outrage. Did you know Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a bigot? Yes. She had to be one of the staunchest Democrats ever to walk the face of the earth. Absolutely. She believed that and I quote, to control the population of African Americans, we must at all costs reduce the birth rate. 80% of abortions are performed on black women who have fallen right into the neo-Marxist trap. That is sad. Did you know that the scientists can now prove an unborn child can feel the pain of abortion at 15 weeks old, which is before the mom even knows she's pregnant? Democrats scream they believe in the science. The science has proven that baby is a life in the womb. Why aren't you believing in that? They are selected in what they want to uphold. As governor, I believe all lives matter, and I will protect all lives from the womb to the tomb. We will overturn the horrific law and free up money to profiling counseling organization. Our Bill of Rights has come under attack. According to our Pledge of Allegiance, we are one nation under God. If we remove God, then what kind of nation we become? A nation under attack. The First Amendment allows for peaceful assembly, as we are doing today, freedom of speech. Now social and mainstream media platforms censor your speech if you speak in public. The neo-Marxists send out their attack goons, Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Those are neo-Marxist groups, and they should be in China. Anybody believe in communism belongs in China, not the United States of America. This is a free country, and we're going to keep it free. Speaking of our constitutional right, did you know that New York State has its own constitution? It says lawmakers can't spend any of your tax dollars on projects unless you, the people, say they can. Right now, in New York, in real-time debt clock is astronomical. It is terrible. According to reports released last year by the State Controller's Office, Thomas D. Paul, New York has the second highest outstanding debt nationally. Did we the people vote to authorize those crooked lawmakers in Albany to spend $360 billion? No, we did not. When did you last see a question on the ballot box asking if we authorize politicians to spend taxpayers' money? This is how did we get billions and billions of dollars in debt. Did you know no other candidate, Republican or Democrat, will talk about our state debt? Because they are part of the problem. There are over 700 New York State public authorities. This accounts for 90% of the debt. These entities create a shadow government. Most of them I will disband as government, including the Board of Education. They're exempt from our New York State Constitution, yet they are given billions of dollars of your taxpayers' dollars every year in budget with no accountability or how they spend the money. All of them spend more money than they receive. Taxpayers don't elect anyone or manage authorities over it. It's called grand larceny. No one will. Why? Because the public authority is where politicians take their friends, giving them high-paying jobs and pensions. For example, 42 years ago in 1980, New York created the Overcoat Development Corporation. It was formed to convince an Indiana company to relocate to our state, New York. This company actually went out of business in Indiana, but the Overcoat Development Corporation continued to exist in New York, receiving millions of dollars of our budget. We investigated the Overcoat Development Corporation, although it's allegedly located at 633 3rd Avenue. No one there and no other tenant has ever heard about it. Where are your millions of dollars going? They are going in the pocket of these suit-wearing, pockets stuffed full of cash, no good leadership. This is where your tax dollars are going. Career politicians lost the flush fund through a pork barrel spending, while I, as a non-career blue-collar people, suffer physically every year. As governor, I will pass a law that prevents any public authority from circumventing our state constitution. They will have to submit a budget for approval and publicly disclose their governance. Creating accounting will allow our administration to reappropriate money back to refunding our police departments, creating safe schools, community investments, and other important services. Once our state debt is under control, we will deregulate restrictions on energy, attracting business back into New York. The more business we attract, the more taxes we are receiving, allowing us to lower your taxes because it's spread out evenly. We have heard your concerns, New Yorkers, and we're working hard to solve the problem. As of 2015, New York's illegal alien population of 750,000 cost the Empire State $5.1 billion per year to support. Imagine what it is costing now with the borders wide open under the selected president we have. You heard me say earlier that as governor, I will create sanctuary schools where at this time I will ban sanctuary cities, strengthen ICE enforcement, and prohibit transportation of illegal aliens into our state. The flag on the Statue of Liberty say, give me your weak, your poor, your downtrodden, and I will give them relief. Everyone is welcome to find refugees and better life in America. It's the world's melting pot. All we ask is you follow our laws, come in the front door. If you're sneaking in illegally through the back door, you will be booted out, and preference will be given to those who legally filed for citizenship. Illegal aliens will not be given driving license. The ones they have will be canceled under my administration. They will not be entitled to any state benefits or allowed to vote in my administration. Finally, to ensure the neo-Nazis monopoly never occurs again, I will instate term limits to all elected and appointed government officials. I don't expect my policies to make me the most liked governor at all, but that's okay. I'm not running in a popularity contest, but a grassroots campaign that represents you, the people. If you want a non-career politician who will return the state back to you. Vote Gibson for New York State Governor. Thank you for attending. God bless America. Thank y'all and have a blessed evening.